Welcome back. This is Billy with Coach Dooley's List. And once again, thank you for following along. And if you're enjoying these coaching videos, please like and subscribe to the YouTube page and follow us on all of our social media platforms. Today, I am here at Norcross High School with head girls soccer coach Laura Freeman. And Coach, thank you for taking the time today.
No problem. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you having us, and just jump right into it. Just tell us all about your coaching journey and how you ended up here at Norcross.
So I started coaching my first year teaching, which was 2016, at Heritage High School in Rockdale County. And I had gone to college in Arkansas, but I was from Athens, Georgia. Like, I'd gone to elementary school, middle school there, so I had family friends of friends who put me in contact with someone at Heritage. And Chuck Landy was still the AD there, and he, was, I guess, hearing that I was interested in coaching. And besides running a couple of activities and sports things at, summer camp, I didn't have too much experience yet, but I love sports and really love soccer. And they didn't have a soccer spot yet, but they asked me if I could take on volleyball, like assistant volleyball coach. I had no idea about volleyball, but I was like, I got to get my foot in the door somewhere. So I started that summer, before school even started, and I was assistant volleyball coach there. And then before the school year did start, they had some movement within, and I ended up getting the JV or assistant varsity soccer spot, and that was under Blair Barksdale at Heritage. And so started coaching then, and just kind of put in a little bit of time, and then through a couple of years, I think in spring of 2020, I was a head coach, and that was our COVID year. But
always fun.
I know. So then I was head coach, and did a few more years at Heritage. Gave up volleyball just because I loved it, but I wanted to really focus on soccer.
Right.
And then, just kind of wanted to change and really wanted to continue to compete athletically. And I'd heard obviously about Norcross and about Gwinnett County sports in general, and saw an email thread of some openings and saw the one about Norcross. So I reached out to Kirk Barton through email, and just ended up here. And I started off as head coach here, and then also flag football for 2 years. I was assistant flag football, and that, in both cases, having a fall sport that I coached as like an assistant was always nice to kind of like dip my feet in.
Yeah.
And all of that. But now I just do soccer and focus really on that.
No, I love it. I love hearing people's journeys too, and I love talking to coaches that coach multiple sports, because you can take so many different things, even how I ended up here. You communicate with other coaches. I know Coach Alexander was like, you've got to talk to Coach Freeman. But you take things from your days in volleyball, and it's not obviously X's and O's and stuff, but you take those things and you kind of start to come up with your ideas about what you want your program to be from. So, and all the stuff that you've coached and the other places you've been, what is it now that you want your soccer program to be known for?
I think I really want for it to be, or I should say, I know I want for it to really be a place where girls enjoy coming, but also where we're known to be competitive and also growing on and off the field. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about stats. It's not just about winning. A lot of my girls play club and have other ways that they excel, and I want for us all to excel here and compete at a high level. There's no reason why we can't, and we have, been able to compete and be successful. But I also want for all of my girls and also myself to continue growing and developing as people, and also just have fun. I mean, it's, at the end of the day, high school is all about growing and trying to be a better person, and I feel like that's kind of what the end goal is every season. So.
Oh yeah, no, and I think coaches that really focus on that, the wins and losses take care of themselves, because as you are growing and figuring out who you are, and those ages 14 to 17 are pretty crazy for teenagers these days. And so, I can tell too by talking to you, you're somebody that definitely, has a good relationship with your players, tries to help them out. And, so, looking back over the years, I always ask coaches, like, everybody's got like their favorite coaching stories they've had, either on the field, off the field, anything. So what's one of your favorite coaching stories?
I can definitely, there's some really good like wins or favorite games. And I think, and I could list a handful of them, but
Tell them all.
there's, I mean, I think whenever I had like my first win as a head coach at Heritage and then here, um, I think there's been a couple of games where a player either has a great save or makes a goal, and I can't help but like get a little, misty eyed because I'm like, oh, we've been working on that. And also we've had some really fun practices. Last year we did like a Norolympics, and every player was put into like a different random team that then had a country,
Okay.
and we all competed like a field day, and that was just a fun. I don't know. That was a really fun day. And so there's the games that I think about as coaching. I think about like Duluth in I guess 24, and then Hope in 2019 when when I was at Heritage about to go to the Final Four, and then Buford in 2020 when I was a head coach. And there's just several games that stick out like, oh my gosh. And I think anytime as a coach in soccer that you win in PKs, that's amazing. But also on the flip side, it's just stressful
Yes.
as all get out. But no, I can't even say I have one specific favorite story. It's just there's all these like little moments over the years. But I also just really love seeing like my players off the field too, and having some good times. Earlier this year, I had to help a player change a tire, and that was a life lesson that it was a fun but also very sweaty life lesson in changing the tire in the student parking lot. And then I got stuck in the student parking lot during dismissal, which was also just not fun. And then actually this last weekend, I got to go see one of my former players from Heritage play in Athens. She's on the LSU soccer team, and so they played Georgia.
Oh, cool.
And so I was watching her play, and I met up with one of my former players from Norcross, she's a student at UGA, and so we watched the game together, but I was watching one of my former players play, and that was just a cool, like, I don't know, almost like full circle moment. And I've had a couple of my former players, help out with some goalkeeping over the years and stuff, goalkeeping training and leg coaching. And I think just like seeing like the full circle, honestly, is like the best part, really.
Oh yeah, and I love everything you said. You talk about like the big wins, and as coaches, the same thing. You remember the big wins. You don't remember every one of them and everything that happened, but then also, like you said, the full circle moments with the kids, and being able later on in life when they're adults and out of college, just hanging out with them from time to time, and then watching those other kids succeed and doing the things that they love, which I think is awesome. And again, I know you keep in touch with your players. So if one of your former players or one of your assistants now ever came and said, Coach Freeman, I want to be a head coach, what piece of advice would you give them?
I think the biggest thing is to have a good support system. And that goes with your friends and family. And I'm so lucky that my friends and family are supportive, and they may not all know a lot about soccer, and they may not know a lot about high school soccer in Georgia, but they are always willing to, cheer me on game days, or, listen to how a game went or anything like that. They accommodate my busy schedule. But also I think having a supportive system at school,
Yeah.
and as we were walking down here talking about like how the other coaches are like sharing spaces here and facilities and stuff, Coach Richardson, Coach Wilkins, the fact that we're backed up to baseball with our locker room, and then football, sharing the field and making sure that we can accommodate their schedule and ours. And one day last year I needed help moving our goals in the rain during my lunch period, and Coach Richardson got some of the football players to come help me.
Yeah.
And that's just little things like that, and having a supportive administration who's always willing to do anything, and supportive just staff in general at the school. I mean, all of our teachers are willing to help out and do whatever, not just for the girls, but also for like me as a coach. And I think that's something that's really important as a head coach to have. And I know that you can't necessarily get that on your own. It kind of sometimes just is a naturally occurring environment, but that's something to really like look for, and also I think help contribute to yourself.
Oh yeah, no, and that's what I often talk to coaches who are thinking about changing jobs, and that's one of the first questions I ask them are, how are things in the building? Because again, your family is always going to be your family. They're going to support you wherever you go.
Mm-hmm.
But in the building, you're 9 to 5 and those kinds. If you have those people that support you, those are questions you have to ask if you're ever going to leave, because the admin can change at any point in time and all that. So, but I love too hearing when you do have baseball working with soccer or football working with you and those kind of things, because that doesn't happen everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes a huge difference. And so, again, one of the big reasons behind these videos is just trying to bring awareness to the website. Coach Dooley's list, if you haven't been on there, please check it out. But just trying to connect coaches with vendors, trying to make their lives easier. So is there anybody you work with that you would love to shout out that you just enjoyed working with and you would refer to other coaches?
So I don't really work with them so much anymore because that was really whenever I was in Heritage. But especially, I guess, more so on like the south side of 285. But Pinnacle Embroidery and Screen Printing in Conyers has been amazing. And I mean, I use them all the time when I was at Heritage. And people who run it are Heritage grads and, just really great people. And I know that we... here at Norcross, we've had some great deals with getting our team meals and stuff from even just like some local franchises and stuff, like Jason's Deli and Chick-fil-A, just things like that.
Yep.
So I think just communicating with any really local spot, whether it is a locally owned or just a franchise, can always be great. But we also have a booster club who does a lot of that too, which is amazing, and that's another big part of being head coach is having one of those too.
Oh, yeah.
So,
well, that's awesome. Well, listen, Coach, I appreciate the time. I can't wait to see how y'all do this spring, and just thanks for meeting with me.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. Best of luck.
Thank you.